My island doesn't have a name you could pronounce. On the maps, it's just a dot in the cold part of the sea. 400 people, 10,000 years of us, and one storm that never really ends. I was born in that storm. I thought I'd die in it too. My name is Vasha. I'm 18. Where I come from, that makes me a hunter, which is a polite way of saying I'm the one they send when something big needs to stop being alive, so the village can eat. I'm good at it. I'm the best they've had in a long time. I hate that I'm telling you that. It's true, though. Before dawn every day, before the hunt, I do the same thing my grandmother taught me. I sit on the cliff. I breathe. I let the noise of everything go quiet until there's just the wind and the sea and something underneath both of them that doesn't have words. I don't know what to call that quiet yet. I will. Not today. That morning the sea gave us a whale. The big kind. The kind the old songs are about. My whole village needs one to make it through winter, and taking one is the hardest, most dangerous thing a hunter can do. They'd been waiting for me to be ready for this my whole life. I was ready. I won't show you the hunt. It's not that kind of story, and the whale deserves better than being a highlight. I'll just tell you it was long, and it was hard, and it was fair. She fought. I won. And when it was done, I put my hand on her and thanked her, because that's what you do. Then I looked up. On the horizon, past the whale, past everything I'd ever known, a cruise liner, a city that floats, covered in lights, in the middle of the afternoon, like it had so much life it didn't know what to do with it all. I'd seen them before, far off. That day, for some reason, I couldn't look away. That night, the village threw the feast. Fires, songs, my name in the old chants. Everyone told me I was the greatest hunter Kalda had raised in 100 years. And I smiled, and I meant it, and I was proud. And, the whole time, in my chest, there was this one small, ungrateful, impossible thought that wouldn't leave. The thought was this. I've caught the biggest thing my world has. I've reached the top of everything here. And I'm 18. If this is the whole cage, even a beautiful cage, even a home, then I already know every corner of it. And something in me wants a bigger one. I felt like the worst, most spoiled girl alive for wanting it. I wanted it anyway. My grandmother found me out there. She's 90, and she hunted before me, and she misses nothing. She looked at where I was looking, at the city glow on the water, and she didn't lecture me. She just said one thing. A spear that only knows one sea is only half a spear." Then she went back to the fire. That was permission. I knew it was. I spent a week deciding, which for me is a long time. I usually decide things in about one breath. I dried and bundled my best pelts, the whale tooth my mother gave me, my grandmother's spear. Everything I owned fit in one pack. That should have made me sad. It made me feel light, ready. Saying goodbye to my parents was the hard part. My father is a mountain of a man, and he cried like a child and pretended he wasn't. My mother didn't cry. She put both hands on my face, she has to reach up now, and said, "Come back when you've caught whatever it is you're hunting out there." I still don't know exactly what that is, I told her. I would. I meant it. The ferry to the mainland took 2 days. Then a train. Then another. I'd never been anywhere with a ceiling that low and that many strangers. People kept staring at me. I'm noticeable. Tall. Built like my father. Foreign clothes. A wrapped spear on my back. I smiled at all of them. Most of them looked away. I filed that away. City people don't know what to do with a smile yet. And then the train came out of a tunnel, and I saw it. Neo Viridia. Tengai, the locals call it. The city that floats, except it doesn't float. It just goes up and up until you can't find the top. On my island, the tallest thing is a cliff. Here, the cliffs are made of glass and light, and they never end. I pressed my hand to the window like a kid. I didn't care who saw. I stepped off the train into the biggest sound I've ever heard. Not one sound, 10,000 at once. Trains, voices, music, engines, 10 languages. A machine somewhere singing about batteries. On the island, silence is the loud thing. Here, silence doesn't exist. It should have scared me. Mostly it just made me grin. So much life. I came for a bigger cage. This was a whole new ocean. I want to tell you, I handled the city well. I did not. I'm a hunter. I can read a sea, track game across ice, feel a storm 3 days out. None of that teaches you how a subway ticket machine works. I stood in front of one for 10 minutes. A very kind old woman eventually did it for me. I could carry her home under one arm, and she took pity on me. The city has jokes. By nightfall, I'd found the cheap part of the city. The low streets. The narrow ones, where the neon gets grimy and the smells get good. Food everywhere. Frying, steaming, grilling. Spices I didn't have names for. My island eats to survive. This was food as celebration, as art. Something in me leaned toward it hard. I didn't understand that feeling yet either. I do now. That's where they found me. 3 of them. Young, twitchy, cheap smiles. They clocked the foreign giant fresh off the train and saw an easy mark. One of them was very friendly. Offered to change my island money for city money. Special rate, just for you. I know a bait when I see one. On my island, bait means a trap. I let them think I didn't. I gave him a few coins to see what he'd do. He did exactly what a coward does. His friends grabbed my pack, my pelts, my grandmother's spear, my mother's whale tooth, and they ran. Everything I owned. Everything I carried 1,000 miles. 3 city boys just stole my whole world and sprinted off laughing into an alley. Bad idea. For them, the alley only goes one way. I checked. Here's a thing about hunting. You never chase. Chasing is how tired animals lose good prey. You track. You cut off the escape. You let the ravine do the work. A dead-end alley is just a stone ravine with better lighting. I walked. Slow. Breathing. The way I breathe on the cliff before dawn. By the time I reached the end of that alley, the quiet had already come. They turned around and found me filling the whole mouth of the alley. And I watched them do the math. 3 of them. 1 of me. But I could see them start to understand that the math didn't work the way they'd thought. That the giant they'd picked wasn't lost, or slow, or afraid. That maybe, they'd stolen a pack off the wrong quiet woman. Smart boys. Little late. I didn't want to hurt them. I want to be clear about that, because everything that comes after in this story has a lot of fighting in it. And I need you to know how I feel about it from the start. I don't like it. I'm very good at it, and I don't like it. Those 2 things can be true. So I gave them the choice I always give. Put down my pack. Walk past me. Go home. One of them pulled a knife instead. I'll spare you most of it. It was very fast and not very fair. Not because I'm cruel. Because a knife in a narrow alley against someone who's field-dressed a whale is simply not a fair fight. And pretending otherwise gets people hurt worse. I took the knife. I sat all 3 of them down on the ground, gently, one at a time. Nobody bled. It was over before the steam from the noodle stand had cleared. I got my pack back. Checked it. Pelts, spear, whale tooth, all there. The 3 of them sat against the wall looking up at me, waiting to find out how bad this was going to get. So I crouched down to their level, and I smiled at them. The real one, the big one, and I said, "You're hungry. That's why you do this. I know hungry." And I gave them back the coins, their faces. You'd think I'd hit them after all. One of them, the youngest, the one who pulled the knife, asked me why. Why give it back? I thought about my grandmother, and the fire, and the whale I thanked. And I told him the truest thing I know. Where I'm from, you don't take more than you need. Not from the sea. Not from each other. The city forgot that. Somebody has to remember it out loud. He didn't have an answer. That's all right. Some questions you sit with. They ran off into the city. Not chased this time. Just gone. And I stood alone in a steaming alley on the far side of the world, with everything I owned on my back and no idea where I'd sleep. I should have felt lost. Instead, I smelled the noodle stand behind me, and my stomach growled loud enough to echo, and I laughed out loud. alone in the neon. A bigger cage, a whole new ocean. And somewhere in it, though I didn't know it yet, a little kitchen with my name on it. I sat on a crate that night and ate the best bowl of noodles of my life from a stall that cost almost nothing. And I did the dawn thing early. I breathed. I let it all go quiet. And in that quiet, for just a second, something almost answered. I didn't have a name for it yet. I do now, but that's later. For now, what's the difference between a cage and a home? I left one to find the other. Tell me what you think it is. Breathe with me. I'll see you in the quiet.